What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mr. Camps, and today you may have watched my previous video for beginners and kind of getting started in FPV. It was like a $22 line of sight type of drone with no FPV camera on it. Well, this is kind of a major upgrade from that, though. If you already own something like the DJI Avata and you've been enjoying my videos and you're looking for something else to kind of help you along for learning how to fly manual and what we call acro mode and not having to mess around with a computer, this is the biggest thing about the CETUS X kit that just came out. It has a newly redesigned set of goggles along with it, and this time, thank you BetaFpv, they did include DVR on here, so we're super happy about that. This is analog FPV, it's not digital like the DJI Avata, but it also includes a charger, 4 batteries, and now a light radio 3. So I'm super happy about this bundle. They made great changes on it that we also suggested here on the channel. So it looks good to me. And I think it'll look good to you after we do some flying. So let's go ahead and strap up the goggles. I'm going to use these goggles today along with the kit. We're going to do some indoor-outdoor flying and have some fun. We'll come back to the bench. And as always, I'll give you my opinions and we'll do some bench talk. Here we go. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and fly together. I'm going to give you my first reaction on my very first flight with the CETUS X. So we're going to go ahead and plug it in. You need to plug in one and the second battery. So plug in both of these plugs. When you plug it in, the light radio 3 should turn solid blue. When it's a solid blue light on here, you're bound up. So we can go ahead and hit the arm button and we should get a low idle. You can see it kind of happen here once it take off out of my hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and goggle up, turn them on the side right here, and let's see if we can get this thing going. I have a DVR card in there, and all right, we're recording video. Cool, you can see a little red light on the screen. Hopefully that's working out. And you know, I'm really nearsighted, so these goggles usually don't work for me, but they actually look pretty good. So let's go ahead now, let's arm it, let's take off. And it's gonna take me a minute to get used to these goggles. Yeah, it has quite a bit of power. I had to really cut back on the power just then. So if you're outside, I think this is gonna be a beast outside. I can already tell that the power system is gonna be quite good. And I'm having a hard time seeing where I'm going here, guys, because again, it's a little bit blurry in the goggles to me. So these would work fine for a kid. And you know what? We'll see how this quad works bumping off things too. Some of these quads don't do so well. Once they start to hit things, they flip to the floor. So and this one's a little bit large for indoors. Like the last one was a little smaller. This one has a little bigger profile and wheelbase to it, so I think it's going to be a really good freestyler outside on 2S. I can't wait for that. But, you know, now I'm getting used to the power system. It took me a minute. Feels good, though. I still can barely see. Uh-oh, had our first crash. All right, let's go pick it up. I don't have turtle mode set up, so we're just going to pick it up and continue flying. Okay, my friends, let's go ahead and skip out to the outdoor test now because this quad flies really insanely good on 2S outdoors. You can see the power here, and I just decided to go straight up to the top of this tallest tree on the property and go ahead and get into a dive and see if it washes out. And amazingly, there's no washout on this quad for any of my outdoor flying, no matter what I did with it. Yaw, snaps, flips, rolls, dives, split S, tree exploration, tree branch flips, which I'm going to show you coming up, sort of kind of power loop type flips. It doesn't want to wash out or have any of that tumble like like its cousin, the Avata, with the prop guards on. So the power to weight ratio on this quad, it's super good. 1103 motors on 2S. Again, it's my micro brushless sweet spot. And at the top of the apex of some of the flips, you can see that low battery voltage pop up on these batteries. They're HV, but they can sag out even when they're brand new. Some of the BetaFpv batteries for me, they start to swell after a while. So when you get a good handful of flights on these batteries, they're going to start to swell. You're going to need new ones. Now here, I just wanted to go in and do some tree exploration and kind of go into stabilize mode.
It's a little bit bigger quad than what I usually put through these trees, tiny whoop size, but I'm able to make it through those gaps, come back in and around, back into the air mode, acro mode now. And I gotta say, I like the speed on this quad. The quad is really fast. And even though it has some kind of limitations on the flips and the roll axis for the manual mode here, it is softened up for beginners. It has a pretty nice yaw snap and pretty predictable, honestly. But again, there's that low battery again when I get high on the throttle. And right here, we're just gonna find a tree branch that we can do some flip on. I just wanted to see if it would flip low to the ground without bottoming out, and I'd do a backflip through that branch. It did just fine. And I want to see if I can do a yaw snap through the branch as well. These are kind of fun to do around trees. Just looks cool in the DVR. And I'm so happy this version has a DVR, you guys. Come on. I love the way it flies outdoors, and I think the CETUS X is best outside. So let's go ahead back to the bench. I'm happy with this one, even as an experienced pilot. It's a lot of fun to fly. Let's talk about it on the bench, guys.
All right, my friends, welcome back from the flight test, indoors and outdoors. Thankfully, it was sunny today, and I have to say the camera looks pretty good. And my other big impression about this is the FPV system on here, back to the goggles. It's pretty good. It is 400 milliwatt on here, so this is also under 250 grams, so no remote ID or registration or anything like that. Fly it where you want, at home or wherever. It is classified as a toy, so this is pretty cool. This is the box that comes along with it. They have some QR codes on the side right here, BetaFpv Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as well. You get the case in here. You get the radio, the Light Radio 3. You get a 2-in-1 battery charger that is USB-C here. It has 2 red lights while it's charging, and once it charges up full, you'll see 2 green lights. This also charges up to HV specs, so HV batteries charge up to 4.35 volt per cell. Don't ever try to charge a regular LiPo up to 4.35 cell. You probably have a fire in your house, so be very careful there. Inside the case, I like the way they have this set up because they put these Velcro pieces in here to hold things down, so when you open up the case, everything doesn't come falling out of the case, which is case in point what happens with my DJI Avata, because I have a hard case, but everything is just kind of set down in there. Nothing's holding anything down, so this is cool that everything's held down. And they put kind of a metal buckle this time around on here. We have the record button, menu navigation, the on-off switch here. We also have, a DVR on the side. This is freaking great, and it works great. The last versions didn't come with a DVR, and I complained about that because I know you guys want to record your flights, and so do I. But the head strap felt pretty comfortable. And I have to say that whatever type of material this is, feels really nice on my face. And even though I have kind of I have a big nose, come on, it fits in here nice. And these edges could probably be a little softer here. I feel like this is a little bit of an edge to it. So you might take a file and just file that down. But the magnification in here looks pretty good. And the transmission from the drone back to the goggles was actually pretty good. There's only a few times in that flight outdoors that I had a real problem with breakup. Indoors, I think it did great. So I'm very happy about that. And you get stick covers, which is cool. It has an internal battery here. There's a bind button on the bottom, USB-C charge port here, setup button here, and you get a multi-function LED for the power switch here. And if you want to buy a lanyard for this one too, so you don't drop it, you can do that. Your modes switch is right here, and I did figure out that they have stabilized mode for beginners, they have horizon mode, and they have acro mode. And I think the most important thing about this kit in general is that yes, there's Betaflight on this. So now this time you can hook up a USB cable to this quad and change things inside Betaflight. So that is super good news for you guys. And I don't see where the USB port is on this baby, but it is running Betaflight. So yeah, maybe it doesn't have a USB port. I don't see one unless they're hiding it. I would have to take it apart to find out, but it could be under there. But it looks like it's not. So we're gonna just say it's not for now, but also 4 batteries in the box as well. And like I showed you, the charger. And we also have in here, this is the pack of goodies, extras in here. And ooh, check this out. I see, what do I spy with my little eye? A USB converter here. Ah, okay, so this is the way we're gonna do this. We're gonna come in with a cable, and the cable is on the bottom of the quad here, just I believe right here. So we're gonna plug this in, and this is the way you're gonna connect it to BetaFlight. Very, 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 very cool. So USB-C there, and they give you a USB-C cable in the box to connect this to BetaFlight. So this is pretty awesome. You're looking at this stuff the first time I'm seeing it as well, guys. So that's freaking awesome. So BetaFlight, full BetaFlight control in there. Download BetaFlight, it's free. And you get some extra props. And it looks like maybe some type of prop remover tool. These just go on by pushing them on. There's no bolts needed with these type of props, and they are 4-blade props. And for my testing today, I'm super happy because guess what? We didn't have any of that notorious tumble with this quad. It really does. It flies great outdoors. I feel like it's a little bit fast inside, for my opinion. I did bring the camera all the way down, and when you first get this, what I would do is I would just bring the camera all the way down as a beginner, and I would take a little mini Phillips head screwdriver and tighten up this bolt and this bolt, because every time I had a crash in the living room, when I would look back at the quad again, the camera would be tilted all the way back. So you don't want to fly it with it tilted all the way back like this indoors unless you're a really good pilot, because with this much tilt you're going to go super fast, and with this much tilt it's going to allow you to slow down and kind of go under things, take gaps around the house, fly through chairs and things like that. We have the 5.8 antenna coming off the back right here, and it looks like it's plugged into the back of the camera. So this must be an AIO unit. So if this is broken, you can replace the whole thing, which is also kind of cool. And I love that they incorporated this little extra harness down here. This is really nice that this plugs into BetaFlight. That is so cool. And this is all labeled here on this connector. It's the first time I've seen this type of connector. And leave it to BetaFpv to come up with this. They came up with their own BT 2.0 connectors, and I'm not surprised that here we are with kind of a new system for accessing BetaFlight for beginners. You won't be able to use this with other quads that I know of, like a 5-inch FPV race drone, but if you took this off and soldered it on there somehow, you might be able to, but I'm sure that that's soldered to maybe port 1 or port 2. And let's check the motors out real quick before we end this review. And it looks like we're running 1103, 11,000 kV brushless motors. Very cool. And none of the props came off in the flight. I was also able to kind of do some pretty good acro flying with it. I enjoyed the flips and rolls, no tumble, washout effect at all. And I feel like these prop guards, with the downforce, it could create extra turbulence because they're kind of open across the bottom here. If they were solid, it would probably be a little more aerodynamic and not have as much prop wash maybe, but I feel like it's not affecting it. So that's good news. You can see the receiver antenna coming out here for the Light Radio 3. And this is probably running on ELRS straight from this, what we call SPI receiver built right into the flight controller. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of new upgrades on this one that I'm pretty happy about versus the older versions of the CETUS. Number one, the DVR, the incorporation of the Light Radio 3, 400 milliwatt, 1103 motors. I've talked about this before in my micro brushless reviews. 1103 on 2 and 3S is probably the most fun you can have with a little tiny analog FPV drone. It's my micro brushless sweet spot. I love it. I really do. So I think the frame, it's fairly light. It feels like it's around 100 grams, give or take. I don't have my scale with me today. but I think it's a pretty cool kit, and I didn't have any problems with it. And it came back in one piece, thank God. So no problems, no brownouts. And one last note before I let you go. Plugging in one battery didn't work, so I couldn't fly it on 1S. If you have some type of dongle to put on the end of this one and cap it off, you probably could fly it on 1S around the house, and that would slow it down a lot. But I don't have that dongle handy, so I had to fly it on 2S, and I had fun with it. So hopefully you had fun on this review too, checking out the new CETUS X from BetaFpv. If you want to support the channel, that's super awesome. You can grab one at my link, and I will get a kickback for my work on the channel. And this is my day job, guys, so I appreciate you. I really do. Please do subscribe. Take care. Stay fly, and I'll see you on the next one.